Hello, folks. I wanted to kick off this week's session with a couple of comments and some pointers about what's in store for the week. So this will just take a few minutes and let's get on with it. So a couple of important points. I think it was last week you guys watched a Spotify interview. And I asked you at that time to sort of think about and pay particular attention to how they identify opportunities and kind of his view of it. I think there's a lot to be learned from that, particularly in both this week's case with Ruth Owades and also with your ICE project. So I think there's things there that apply to both of those, particularly the ICE project. The other thing I want to talk about is this week you're going to watch a video or an interview or actually a TED Talk by one of the founders of Airbnb. And one of the things that I think they do exceptionally well that many other companies don't do is they take the big elephant in the room and they tackled it head on. Now just think about this. Today, Airbnb is sort of well established and there's no sort of issues with it, but think about when they were starting as he described it. You are going to go rent a room from a stranger and stay at their house. And that stranger is going to rent you a room and you're going to stay in their house, right? That's like really sort of creepy, or it can be. So they understood that this was the huge impediment. It's what I would call a killer assumption. So a killer assumption means you are making an assumption about your business that something is going to work. It's going to work in a certain way. And so they realized early on that getting people to trust each other, both the person renting the room and the person who owns the house, that has to be established well in order for this I'm going to go sleep at a stranger's house for the night thing to work. So they tackled it head on. And I give them a lot of credit for that. Many companies just sort of ignore that and sort of hope for the best. So here again, I want you to apply this to this week's case, and as you think about it and analyze Ruth, and also to your ICE project. What is your killer assumption in your project, and how are you going to tackle it head on? Okay, let's go to the next slide. So let's just talk a few minutes about the Ruth Owades case. And I don't know how to pronounce that last name, so we'll just call it Ruth from now on. First of all, it's a real person. So if you want to take a little initiative and Google her on the internet, you can find at least a commencement talk that she gave and a few other things about her. So worthwhile. I think the commencement talk I found is on YouTube. So two particular things I want you to kind of think about as you read the case and as you prepare your case write-up. So one is about building a coalition or building support inside of Avion. And I want you to think about how she did that and are there ways in which she could have done that better? I clearly think there are, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Particularly in your case write-up. The other big point here with this particular case, I think, is how much money do you need to raise? And in order to do that, you really need to understand cash flow. That's why I have a couple of other videos for you to watch about cash flow. Because you want to make sure you raise enough money to build a bridge, if that's your objective, i.e. to get to the other side, and you're not building a pier, meaning you run out of money before you get to the other side. So think through the cash flow situation with Ruth in this case, and is she raising enough money? And these two things that we just talked about, building a coalition and raising enough money and understanding the cash flows, are two big elements of this case. So I hope you will use those words wisely as you analyze the case. So just wanted to make a few of those points to help set up this week. I hope you have a great week. If you have any questions, again, post them to the general forum for the course. and I will respond there, and everyone will get the benefit of that. I hope things are going well. If you have any other issues, please feel free to reach out to me via email, and talk to you again soon. Thanks.